Hello darlings, and welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to be skipping the light and fluffy side of our family and bring you down to the darker corners of our home, where we like to expand our way of thinking, investigate outside of the box into a perspective that the media and government cannot control.
Dramatic.
It's okay, sweetie, just go with it. So today we are going to be discussing current topics, more specifically the coronavirus, also known as COVID-19.
The Chinese virus?
It's not racist at all, no. It comes from China.
China.
The coronavirus is a current ongoing pandemic caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome, also known as SARS. The outbreak was identified in Wuhan, China on December 2019 and officially became a worldwide pandemic by the World Health Organization on March 11, 2020. As of April 17th, more than 2.2 million cases have been reported in 210 countries, resulting in more than 149,000 deaths. The virus is mainly spread between people during close contact via small droplets produced by coughing, sneezing, or even talking. There has been so many theories about the coronavirus floating around out there, and we are not ones to believe in theories that have zero evidence. However, the theories that leave us scratching our heads are the ones that say a US senator started. The first theory is that COVID-19 is a bioweapon released by humans from a laboratory. This theory began to gain speed when American attorney and United States Senator Tom Cotton claimed that the new coronavirus was intentionally created in a laboratory in Wuhan, China. He also suggested Beijing had been lying about the real number of infections to downplay the seriousness of the epidemic. Keep in mind, there is only one laboratory in China, which is called the Wuhan Institute of Virology and is also a level 4 lab. That's right. The one laboratory in China happens to be only a few miles away from the Hunan seafood market. That's right, in Wuhan, which is where scientists have said the coronavirus outbreak has originated. Interesting. Let's go ahead and watch what US Senator Tom Cotton has to say.
This virus did not originate in the Wuhan animal market. Epidemiologists who are widely respected demonstrated that several of the original cases did not have any contact with that food market. We also know that just a few miles away from that food market is China's only biosafety level 4 super laboratory that researches human infectious diseases. Now, we don't have evidence that this disease originated there, but because of China's dishonesty from the beginning, we need to at least ask the question.
The Centers for Disease Control wanted to go into China. The U.S. has offered a lot of help, including sending the CDC in there. They said no, right?
The Chinese government has consistently blocked American scientists, who are obviously the very best in the world, from going to Wuhan, going to Hubei, trying to provide assistance, but the Chinese Communist Party continues to refuse that offer of assistance from the United States.
Either China is just trying to act tough by saying that they don't need any help, or they're just trying to hide something.
I think they might be hiding something.
Also, in Resident Evil, the Umbrella Corporation logo is the same as the Wuhan Laboratory logo.
Also, the raccoon from Raccoon City is an anagram for corona. I will say this, however. If this were true, I think this all comes down to population control, and that is due to the fact that China instituted a one-child policy, which then turned into a two-child policy. I've heard that they've since lifted that, so who knows? This could be all about controlling the population. So let's give that theory a rest and go a little bit deeper. So maybe, just maybe, the virus wasn't intentionally leaked, and who knows? Maybe it didn't even come from China.
There are over 54 level 4 labs around the world. A level 4 lab contains the most lethal and dangerous viruses, bacteria, and pathogens in the world, such as SARS and Ebola, all of which have no vaccines or treatments.
While all level 4 labs have the highest level of biosafety precautions, such as requiring scientists to wear positive pressure suits, passing through a chemical shower for decontamination, and tightly controlled airflow, sometimes there are accidents where a worker at the lab could accidentally be exposed to a virus and go into the world carrying a pathogen and spreading it unknowingly. And this has actually happened several times in the past. In fact, the SARS outbreak of 2003 was actually a result of a lab accident where 2 individuals from a lab was infected unknowingly, carrying the virus home to their families and to the public, then hospitalized after already spreading the outbreak. So, can we be so sure that this outbreak started in a Chinese wet market? Maybe. But maybe not at all. Let us know what you guys think about this first theory down below. The second conspiracy theory that we personally 100% believe is that the coronavirus started spreading in the United States undetected since the fall of 2019. As far as we know, the very first cases of this illness began spreading through China in December 2019. That means those would have contracted the virus sometime in November or early December. That being said, that is the same month where there were over 132,000 residents residents from China visiting the United States. Statistically speaking, the virus has already been in the United States for long before we even knew what this was. But don't take our word for it. Take a look at these news articles and notice that there was a trend going on at that time in the headlines. Flu season came weeks early. United States experiencing a severe flu season.
Be a tough one. The flu's already widespread in 5 states, and last year at this point it wasn't widespread anywhere.
The number of flu cases that we're detecting is much higher than we would expect to see at this point in time in any average year.
A few months ago during New Year's Eve, Kris came home from work and we were supposed to celebrate with a nice dinner and watch the countdown. But Kris started to not feel well, and that was the beginning of what would be, in your words, Kris, the worst you have ever felt.
Which one are you gonna be?
Oh shit. So that first night, I was just feeling really ill, very weak. And as this progressed, I started to feel extremely weak. I started to get a cough, and the cough was so unbearable that every time I talked or even just took a deep breath, I would just cough. Uncontrollable cough, nonstop. I went to the doctors 3 times. Each time, they had nothing to say. They didn't know what I had, and I went to the doctors maybe on January 5th after everything never got better. So a week had gone by, nothing better. So I went to the doctors, and of course they didn't test because coronavirus was not even known at that point. So a week goes by, didn't get better, still had a fever 2 weeks in, and the cough was so unbearable that I was having extremely bad headaches. Laying down, I couldn't breathe because the cough just kept coming. I literally had to lay on my side to feel any better because I couldn't lay on my back. I would cough uncontrollably. And there's 3 different medicines that they tried, and not one helped. I had asthma as a young kid, didn't have any issues for my entire life until now, and this brought it all back. And it was just the worst illness that I've ever had. The first week I had a slight fever, but my last 2 weeks I had a fever so bad I would wake up in the middle of the night with just pools of sweat. I didn't even really know what was happening.
Around the same time, we've been hearing a lot of friends and family who were sick recently experiencing the same symptoms. And there was always the same phrase being used every single time, and that was that they felt the worst that they've ever felt and a cough that just would not go away. Kris even spoke to a client that he had who was confirmed with coronavirus, and what Kris described as his symptoms, he said that he had the same exact thing. And as a germaphobe, every time someone is sick in our house, whether it's Kris or myself, we are always quarantined off and we wear a mask, so that's something that we already do. We just didn't know that we were potentially quarantining off a possible coronavirus. I think it's been quietly and unknowingly spreading through America for a while before they even figured out what the illness was.
So we could have people in the United States dying for what appears to be influenza when in fact it could be the coronavirus or COVID-19.
Some cases have been actually diagnosed that way in the United States today.
Before China knew what the coronavirus was, they may have been diagnosing people with a general respiratory infection, cold or flu, and if there was a death, they may have just labeled the cause of death as pneumonia-related symptoms. But thanks to whoever decided to say, hey, there seems to be a lot of extreme similar cases of this illness, it's not behaving like the normal flu, let's test the virus and see what's going on. And that's why when they started to finally know what to test for, there was such a huge and rapid spike in the coronavirus cases. But will we ever know how long this virus has actually been floating around?
I have my own theory. People on Reddit have been saying that the aliens are mad at us for trying to raid Area 51, so they gave us coronavirus.
You just never know, sweetie. You just never know.
Okay, let's just get into the third theory, and that's why people are linking 5G towers to the coronavirus. If you don't know, 5G, the new generation of wireless network technology, promises 100 times faster data speeds than the old 4G. The old 4G phone towers used to have the ability to reach our phones from a greater distance, so we only needed a few large towers here and there at a far distance from humans. But 5G cell phone towers don't have the same ability. And in order for it to give our phones the speed it promises, there needs to be thousands more 5G towers in every city, and they need to be closer to people than ever before, like next to schools, playgrounds, restaurants, and even our front yards.
They'll have to install about 300,000 new antennas for the rollout of 5G. That is roughly equal to the total number of cell phone towers built over the past 3 decades.
And this is all pretty new, and there are claims that 5G radiation damages the immune system, absorbs oxygen from the body, and some even go as far as to say that the symptoms of the coronavirus is not actually a virus at all, but is symptoms of 5G radiation exposure that we are all getting from 5G towers around the world.
5G is built on this low low-band signal that can penetrate walls.
The timing is interesting, however, because China was one of the first to adopt the 5G network, and they turned on their 5G towers for the first time on November 1st, 2019, only 1 month before the outbreak of the illness, and now live all over the world. And some of these towers are totally hidden and you can't even tell that they are all around us. Is this whole virus thing a cover-up of 5G radiation illness? Personally, I don't think so. But again, would it be wise to 100% negate the possibility that this is true, especially when we're being told by the government that there are no known illnesses linked to the 5G radiation exposure? Operative word being known.
According to emwatch.com, anything over 300 is not safe. There's a high risk of serious health effects. So right here, it's over 1,000 millivolts per meter. And let me show you why. And there's a cell phone tower on top of that restaurant. Radiation is real.
Do you think that there is any connection to the 5G exposure and coronavirus? Comment below what your thoughts on this theory is. Again, we don't mean any disrespect to anyone that has been affected by the virus, and we hope that no one else has to suffer from this anymore. If you would like to help during this time, we kindly ask that you please donate anything that you can to the World Health Organization's Global Response Fund. To find out more about them, click the link below.
And if you guys do end up donating, be sure to send a screenshot of proof to our DMs, and then we'll send a personalized video to you.
Alright guys, we just want to thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much to the person who asked for this video to be done. If you enjoyed this conspiracy video, go ahead and like this video and comment down below if you want future conspiracy videos where we can talk about any other topic. This does take a lot of research, but it is so much fun for us to talk about. This is a different side of our family that you guys don't really get to see. We like talking about mysterious things in this world. Ghosts, aliens, conspiracy theories,
asleep legs,
shadow figures. Comment anything down below that you guys want to see us do in the future. We love you, darlings. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys haven't already, join our DM Darling family by hitting the subscribe button and the notification button as well. And follow us on social media. We'll have our links to Instagram and our TikToks right here and down below. As always, we love you, darlings, very much, and we will talk to you later. Bye!
When I wake up,